Man, 4% is hard to shy away from, man. 4% is crazy. So that's crypto staking cost, you know. So if I can put away a decent chunk of change, I'd love to put away 10K at 4% and just have it at the ready. Like I said, just ready to deploy. That's been my whole mission. Is to have, you know, quite a bit, you know, 20 or so K just sitting at the ready, making some interest. You know, right now it's, you know, in Discover making 2%. But man, if I can make 4% on it and just have it at the ready with no penalties for withdrawal, and to be able to withdraw it and deploy those funds in one business day with no penalties, dude, that's a weapon. That's like having, you know, it's like having a bazooka ready to go. When the right opportunity, second Franco comes out with the right opportunity, I'll be like, bam.
Would you take the money from Discover and transfer it over to Current?
No, I've still got money in Discover. I'll probably move some from Navy Federal. You know, I try and keep it in, you know, I've got my Navy Federal stash, you know, that I keep I'm not trying to put all my business out there, but I keep a decent chunk of change in there just to keep my business relationship with them going. Because, you know, that's you know, they kind of have their own scoring system over at Navy Federal. So if you keep a decent amount of change there, I don't know, it's kind of weird. They look at you different. Let's just put it that way. So there's that, and then there's Discover. But I don't think, you know, Discover's tried and true. I've been with Discover for like 3 or so years, ever since they were doing. I think I came in with Discover at 2.9%, right before the pandemic when they started chopping interest rates. So Discover's good. Discover's tried and true. So, you know, I have no problem suggesting Discover for anybody, you know, for a high yield savings. But this other place, like I said, I'm literally going through the terms and conditions right now just to see what's going on with it. But that 4% is enough to make me read. I'm gonna read it all for 4%.
Sounds like a plan. All right, so another bit of news that I found out for all us real estate people. I'm gonna have a full list about it because me and my friend we was just talking about it. They live in Vermont, and he just secured a special. They got these new. Stacy would know probably more what I'm talking about. Do you know they're doing bridge loans to people with no docs? Long as you're going to get long as you get an Airbnb or some type of rental property now.
Say what now?
They're doing bridge loans for people that are buying Airbnbs and rental properties. And it's no docs. He just got
What do you mean by no docs? Please explain no docs.
No documentation.
No documentation.
Of income.
You don't have that. They have a stated income. You state what your income is, and they're giving out loans as long as the property is not going to be a property that you're living in. You're going to rent it out for revenue.
They keep the keys too?
No, not at all. You keep the keys. But
that sounds like a ninja loan, bro.
But the thing is, I'm gonna get more information because we got to put it together. But that's why I want y'all to be on the lookout because I've been seeing a lot of this. Because of the way they keep the cookies track my ads or what I look at. I've been seeing a lot of this lately on my social media phase where they're social media feed where they're trying to give away loans to people more and more that have rental property houses. It's a big thing now, and I'm gonna give y'all a lot more of the information come next week because we just talked about it today, and I gotta finish getting it up. But he just did it, and he doesn't even have a property yet. He just basically got the loan, and he's going to get, and now he's finna basically get the property. All he had to do is have a property under contract, and as long as you got a property under contract, they'll actually give you the loan. And so I have more information about it because it's really interesting. And I think that that is a sign to show you, like we talked about at the beginning, as a sign to show you that the housing markets are really not really going anywhere because the banks are starting to lend more and more money to the landlords than they are the renters to keep the landlords, because a lot of landlords are actually suffering during this time. But the thing is, they're trying to keep the housing market and the lenders at the top. I mean, well, the owners of the houses able to continue to buy houses. That's how they're gonna try to weather the storm of the recession. I believe this is my personal opinion because I just started recently seeing these different companies that actually produce just they're just lending to rent short term. They call it short term renters financing, and basically they're financing home for anybody that's renting their property out to regular renters and short term renters. And so, it's something to think about. I have some more information on it. I actually got the company name, but that he actually used, and I can give y'all that. I don't know a whole lot about. I don't know a whole lot about it, and I want to put that. Um, I want to put that out there. Because it's basically it's a crazy. It's a really crazy. I can call it. It's a really crazy thing because he actually went through regular alley. You know what I mean? Have you ever heard of alley? Has anybody ever heard of alley?
Mm-mm. No, I haven't.
Alley Bank
Oh, yeah,
is
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Ali.
Alabama.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
heard.
yeah,
Bank
yeah.
Yeah,
is
yeah. I've used Alley several times with
yeah
buying vehicles.
yeah Alley
Hmm.
Bank is the one. I don't know a whole lot about Alley Bank myself. So, but Alley Bank is who he used, and he didn't have any documentation. He just stated everything, and they basically gave him the loan for the house, and he's actually going, like, he had a property under contract, but he didn't own the house, and basically they financed it with no docs. So I think it's kind of weird, but you know, just something to throw out there to y'all.
What do you mean by no documentation?
No
You just said
documentation.
it.
Like nothing?
No
You just
documentation.
said it.
You know what? I'm just asking because I was
How can
finding
you
Probably
ask
was
when you
it
ask
probably
and
was
answer the question
stated
at the
income.
same time?
what you say, Sam?
It's probably stated income. You know, how people could state how much money they make
Thank,
per month. You know,
thank you, Stacy.
with no documents.
Thank you, Stacy. Stacy is just like the nice principal.
She was over there.
Well, hey,
was probably over
I'm
there,
just like you. I'm a vice principal.
mhm.
Stacy, thank you, Stacy, for
Yeah, I'm
clear.
the vice principal too. Then
Yeah, yeah.
You
Me and Franco, assistant
Sam.
principals.
We the assistant principal.
Yeah, you and Sam are the mean.
We let the children run wild in a month.
No,
Yep.
you two are the mean assistant principals.
Well, I'm the gym coach.
I'm the school
Oh my
counselor.
God.
But that
I'm
is
the
true,
janitor.
Stacy, what you said. Because
The janitor.
thinking about it, when I got my first American Express card, like I just told them a salary. Like they never verified it. They could have, but they'd asked me for no documentation. The same thing with
They
me.
probably did a soft pull on you though. Believe it.
Yeah,
or
that's what they probably did.
Yeah.
And found out I wasn't telling no story.
Well, they found out you was.
I don't tell stories.
They're lies.
But-
Just tell lies.
I tell lies either.
I've used Alley Bank myself. I used Alley twice on the commercial. Yeah, on the commercial side, I bought a car and I bought a truck through Alley Bank. And here's a little nugget: if you can ever get approved, like pre-approved through Alley Bank, you could go shopping for the vehicle that you want.
So
And they do.
that's about what
They-
he did.
And they do a lot. They do a lot with businesses. So if you own a business, you'll probably get, you get a better chance of getting approved. And these car dealerships, they use Alley when they shopping your deal around.
Yeah, Alley Bank was one of the first banks that I looked at for high yield savings too. So Alley's always in the mix when it comes to high yield savings too.
Okay.
Wow. So yeah, so see that was y'all just put me on game because when he was explaining it to me, I'm like, huh? How you buy a house without having to,
Sucks.
Yeah, he had no documentation. He was like, shoot, man, I just tried it, and they gave it to me. He was like, all I had to do is all I had to do was go find a property, get somebody to write a contract on it, and they basically funded it. They basically funded the deal. I was like, I ain't never heard of that one, But he showed me the paperwork, and I was like, wow. So,
Okay.
but now I'm gonna tell you, that goddamn interest rate, ooh, that thing 8.49%.
Cat though.
That's ridiculous. That's too high.
Inflation is 9.1.
I understand that, but that's ridiculous. I mean,
Hey, they'll get you one way or another. Either way.
they are.
But if you really think about it, here we go. If you really think about it, it ain't high at all because he ain't spent no money.
What do you mean he didn't spend any money?
Did we drop you off on?
Y'all did. I was on the phone with my boss.
Well,
so
see, if you asking questions, you need to, and you want to pay attention. You got to pay attention fully. You got to just cut off the distraction. He ain't.
I'll call somebody. I'll text it. I'll call the question.
He hadn't spent a dime.
The question ain't gonna let you cheat on her sheet.
He hasn't spent a dime.
Oh, that's
he
good.
doesn't have any money of his. He doesn't have any real money of his except for the little money he spent with the real estate agent in it. So
zero.
So even if he spent $1,000 with the real estate agent, and you don't have to spend money to put a contract on the house,
right?
So even if you spend $1,000 with the real estate agent, he just got a full loan, no doubt, and basically, yeah, it's high. The interest rate is super high, but if you go,
he getting ready to be in business.
Yeah, he getting ready to be in business in a house. He gonna have a rental property house.
So this is a house. So again, let me apologize that I had to take a work call, but so he owned. The teachers come back tomorrow.
They Sunday.
Right, but the teachers come back tomorrow. We have to be ready.
Y'all planning y'all teacher workroom trip.
Y'all already starting off wrong already.
So no, that's our team. So and then we had to discuss what we were gonna do for tomorrow. But anyhow, he already has. It's a house, correct? That he purchased, correct? Because I'm filling myself
in. Did you
in.
ride that little bus when you go to?
I did not. I rode the full long bus.
You rode
okay.
the little bus when you went to school. When y'all go in the morning, do you ride the little bus?
Yep, he did. With the tinted windows.
You ride the one with the tinted windows. Yes, you ride one with
yes, sir. With the tinted.
We didn't have any buses with tinted windows.
He ain't even bought the house yet.
Oh, he just got approved for a loan, basically.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I missed all of that, so I apologized and told you all I was handling a work call, and so I was just asking questions so I could feel like I'm a part of the group.
Well, if you weren't answering the phone, you would have heard the part,
Oh, I have to answer the phone. That's my only income.
He basically put a house under contract. Got to prove for it because he can't ever live in the house. He can't it can't be a personal residence. He can never live in the house.
Okay,
gotcha.
Gotcha.
Just be a short-term rental or a renter house. He can never live in the house. That's one of the stipulations and it say it clearly on his contract. It can never be.
I wonder why it can't be an owner-occupied property.
Well, my mom sister has been.
They're trying to acquire property
to get a good rate. Usually, that's a stipulation to get a good rate. You usually got to stay in a place for a year and a day.
Well, again, this one
was it 8%?
This is right here. He can't live in the it says it on the contract, and I was looking over the contract, and it cannot be a private residence. The owner of the property cannot live in the property. It has to be for short-term rental and renters only. He can't occupy the property as his private residence at any time.
See, from an investment standpoint, you want to say, what's the bank's angle on that whole situation?
I'm trying to figure that out.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, and the only thing I can come up with in that scenario is that eventually they're buying real estate. You're actually purchasing it, but the bank, if the bank is financing, it's really the bank's, correct? Until that loan is paid off. What happens when that loan is paid off?
It goes to it should go to
the owner.
Right, it'd be free and clear.
He still owns it. He still owns it, but it's a new. Like I said, I just talked to him today. We were going over it. We talked about it, and I'm getting more information about it. He still will own the house, but he can't actually occupy the house as a personal house because of the way the loan is structured. You see what I'm saying? So I don't have all the details, but I just know he went through Alley Bank. I saw the paperwork where they sent him the approval. He showed it to me on Google on his email, and he was showing me they sent it to him, and it says right there it says owner cannot occupy, like it says in big bold print, owner cannot occupy residence as a private resident. It has to be a commercial. It has to be considered commercial rent, short-term rental, or commercial rental property.
So that's what I was trying to say. So yeah, Franco, that is definitely true because my line sister's husband did the same thing, and he has a property in Macon, and so he can't. Well, he has several properties, but that particular property he can't stay there. So he has to. He can never. I don't know if he can ever occupy it, but he can only use it as a rental property. I mean, I didn't ask her any questions about that, but I remember her sharing that with me.
So I'm guessing once the loan is paid off, he can occupy it then?
I guess
that's
so.
Right. It would be your property.
He will own it then.
Yeah.
My big question is, will you do while you have a loan on that property? Okay. Because, will you still be able to leverage it the same way that you can with a property that has a conventional loan?
Nice.
You know what I'm talking about, Stacy?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Leverage that property to buy more.
Right.
I'm gonna say, in an assumption, I'm gonna say it has to be, because it's in a commercial. When you look at commercial property, they have ways to leverage those commercial properties the same way.
Oh, hold up.
Here's my thing. Go ahead.
I think I figured out the play. I figured out their angle. Okay. What did you say the interest rate was? Like 8.something?
8.49%.
They know those people aren't going to hold those rates. They're going to get other banks to refi, and they're going to keep that extra money. That's what their angle. Ain't nobody break that down. Interest rate.
So what you saying, Sam?
Once you leverage that property, that's a pretty easy way to buy out.
Exactly. You can refi that property with another bank, and that they're going to get their money. Alley going to get their money if you refi.
So
there's probably something in the contract. There's probably something in the contract where just like with a traditional mortgage, that mortgage interest gets paid up front. If nobody's looked at that, it's not linear. You pay the majority of your interest on that mortgage up front, and then toward the end of the loan, you're actually paying principal. You see, I'm getting at. So they probably have something crazy where they're getting a massive amount of interest up front, and you're paying very, very little principal when you start making your payments. And if they can hold that loan for 6 months until you flip, then they've made a pretty decent chunk of change.
That's probably got an early payment penalty in there too.
Does that sound like sound logic, Stacy?
Yeah, and add to that, they probably have some type of early payment penalty in that contract too, to where if you try to pay that loan off early, there's probably some type of penalty for it also. But it's interesting.
There's got to be something in there, man. They ain't just Ally. Ain't out there trying to give out money. They ain't.
I know. Nah. Banks are definitely in business to make money, and for them to say, it's almost like if I'm the bank, I don't care how you get me my payment. You could be living in it. You could be renting it out. You could be
Yeah.
short-term rent. I don't care. As long as I get my monthly payment, I'm good. But like Sam said, it's got to be. They're getting 8.9%.
8.49%.
Right. That's a hefty.
That's a lot.
That's a hefty return on your money at 8.9%. And if it's a long-term deal, say if it's a 30-year deal that's fixed or something like that.
Oh
man,
God.
Yeah, they ain't nobody's gonna sit on that long. They're gonna refile that joker, man. They're gonna get, like I said, they're gonna get their money.
So is this the new? I mean, oh Lord, I cannot believe something is 8.
That's 8.9. That's APY. That's each year. That's 8.9%. So if they have that for 30 years, that is literally, I mean, just round figures. That's 3 times what they what they loaned you originally.
Right. That's crazy.
Ooh.
So Franco, did the person get a good deal on his property? I mean, that's just like
I don't. All I know, we talked about it, and it was interesting when you showed it to me, and I was just like, wow, that you really got a loan on a house with no doc just because it's a commercial property. So
Man,
yeah.
even if that property costs them $200,000, if you got a 30-year mortgage on it, that's $600,000 in 30 years at 8.49%. Bruh, that's a lot.
Bruh.
Here's the thing.
Bruh.
If he can make the numbers work,
yeah, that's all it is.
If he can make the numbers work,
it's good.
Shoot, everybody get their money. Everybody straight at the end of the day.
8.9, you get 10% cash on cash return. You still making a little bit of money. Everybody's still making a little bit of money.
Okay, when you say, Stacey, I'm sorry, when you made the comment, if he can make it work, do you mean the person who?
So like the person who's renting the place, getting the property, it's a commercial property. So I don't know, he may put a restaurant, he may chop it up and make a couple of stores, but just to say if his mortgage is $1,000 and he can make $4,000 a month, make $3,000, he's making. And you got to think about it. He's paying 8%, but he's not using his money. He's using the bank's money to finance his own venture, and he's using the tenant's money to pay back the venture.
Right.
And he's still walking away with $2,000 free.
Shark and the shark. Shark and the shark. That's called cash on cash.
See, right there.
Cash on cash return.
When I talked to my cousin, he told me he's a mortgage broker, and he just said that he told me it's terrible. He said it's real terrible, and he said he told me that he was like, Nikki, put a halt on trying to look at that property in Destin or Panama City. He just said put a halt on it right now.
It's terrible when it's personal. Okay, it's terrible when it's personal. But if you're a businessman, like Stacey said, if you're just lining up business deals, technically it don't matter what rate you're paying, as long as you know that you've got another stream of that investment is setting up a stream of income at a higher rate. So if you get a cash on cash return that's more, then, technically you ain't failed. You're still winning. And like I said, the ability to leverage, if you've got the ability to leverage, you've also increased your net worth. So your business's net worth has also increased. Nobody's looking at the interest rate there. Nobody's looking at that. Now, what I'm talking about is, if you like we talked to you last week, Nicole, if you ain't got a business, if you ain't got an LLC, if you're just buying for personal reasons, then no, that's terrible. That's just absolute terrible. But if you are a business, this is just another way to leverage. If you've got another deal lined up, it's just like these car dealers. They don't got a problem paying you a premium for your used car because they know they've got another deal lined up. They're not going to pay you for your used car if they ain't got a deal lined up and they know that they're not making big money off that.
Yes, sir.
That does. Thank you, Reggie. And it's what's funny is BMW actually sent me a letter last week. I'm not even financed with them anymore, but they sent me a letter stating that they would give me $2,000 to trade this car in, get the same car, a 2022, and they would take, which is crazy, which they're willing to give me like a 3.8 2.5 interest rate, which I have a 2.3 at Navy Federal. So it's just like I wouldn't even, it's just stuff. They're sending all kind of stuff in the mail. And then they was like, you won't have any issue with any negative equity because we kind of want to get your truck back in and put you in the same model, just the newer model.
That's because they're making, again, that's another example of cash on cash, because they already know, they already have at least 2-3 other people lined up to buy your used vehicle at a premium. And they're going to tie you up into another payment.
That's a negative. I like my 2.3 interest rate.
It's a positive for them. Like I said, I've been spending the last 3 years of my life here, this pandemic, ever since I got feeling better. Me and my friend, the one that does real estate, I'm like, everything I try to do, I'm just trying to make sure that my bowl is the right side up when it starts raining money, because it's raining money everywhere. You just got to be in the right situation. You got to be on the right side of the check. I say that all the time. You got to have your bowl on the right, the right side up. But there's a lot of people that's raining money all the way around them. But if your bowl's upside down, you're not going to get none of it. And there's always somebody out there making money off you. So I understand. I respect the game, player. I respect the game.
Anybody hear anything about Biden having COVID?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
he
you
got
say, Stacey? It sounded muffled.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anybody heard the word about Joe Biden having COVID now?
Yes, my uncle around there. I hope old girl didn't give him anything when she came from the conference.
who your girl Kamala.
Yeah, because she was at the conference with us.
Yeah, she
A lot of people came back positive. Yeah, a lot of people from that conference tested positive.
I wonder why. I noticed the news is kind of pulled back on Ukraine, the whole Ukraine situation.
I don't even hear about it.
What's up with that?
It's not a driver anymore. It's not gonna get people's attention. They'll come up with something next. I think is Trump gonna be coming up next.
No, but they mention it every now and again. Like right now, Russia's trying to annex the parts of the Ukraine that they've taken over. That could become big news. I think the last one I saw was earlier today. There's another American that went over there, died. There's another American that went over there to fight that died. But it has to be news. I mean, they've literally kind of given up on it. But I told you, I worked for a company out of Ireland, and they are having all kinds of crazy things that are going on, over there in Europe. Everything from a heat wave, they're having stupid heat. It's like it's unprecedented. Like is for the amount of time that they've been recording heat, that's the heat record in the majority of Europe right now. Just like here along the south. But it's even worse there because a lot of these countries like Ireland, it's normally a cold, wet country, and they don't even have AC built into the buildings and things like that. And they're pushing 100-degree weather. So they've got people that are there they're literally sending their employees and stuff like that home for both reasons. Because I get these company alerts from Ireland, even though they don't matter to me, but I've gotten 2 COVID alerts. So they're talking about like when you come up, people are taking holiday there. They do a lot of holidays in Europe. So that when they take holiday, they have to take 2 weeks before they come back into the building. That's because of COVID. And now on top of that, they're not even getting back into those buildings because those buildings aren't meant to support them in this heat. So the buildings are not holding up in this heat. These guys are going through some stuff over there in Europe. Between that, and you want to talk about, our economy going nuts. Dude, right now, the U.S. dollar is the first time, I believe, ever since the invention of the euro that the U.S. dollar has gotten a one-up on the euro.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the dollar is strong right now.
The dollar is now one-up the euro. because I remember last time I looked, it was maybe just pre-pandemic, right before the pandemic. It was like a euro costed us $1.60. It was almost twice as much. 1 euro was almost 2 to 1 to the dollar, and that was last week. The dollar was even. This week the dollar has one-upped it by like 8 cents, something like that.
I wonder why. Anybody might want to chime in that might be able to tell us why the dollar. Because I like Reggie was saying, I remember the dollar was weak compared to the euro, and the euro was strong. What changed? What happened?
I think Ukraine has a lot to do with it.
That's interesting. But that's a good thing, though. That's a good thing for us, being that we're Americans and the dollar's our currency.
Go travel. It's time to go there, do some shopping, girl.
Listen, Reggie, I gotta
Mexico prices, but it's close.
I gotta stay put for about 30 days.
30 days. Wait till that American Express go down.
Huh?
Wait till that American Express bill come in.
No, it's crazy. I tested positive again for COVID.
Uh-oh.
So I'm gonna slow it down just for a second. It's weird because I'm vaccinated, boosted, didn't have really any symptoms.
Joe Biden was too. They say Joe Biden had the double boosters.
It's crazy.
No, they're saying this new strain don't give a crap about it.
It doesn't, and that's what my doctor told me. Like, it doesn't matter. It was 11 months. He said, Nicole, that's good. 11 months, and you've never got it again. And I got it when I was traveling, and so it was so quick. They don't know, was it when I was in Destin or was it when I was in Orlando? Like, they don't know, was it in the airport? And I was a little careless in the airport. I did not wear my mask like I normally do.
Oh, careless. You always got to stay strapped.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, you did. I mean, on the plane.
WHO is trying to make monkeypox the new bad guy now.
Yeah.
Who is?
WHO just came out with a big health issue, world health issue on monkeypox.
They've been trying to blame monkeypox on Africa for the longest already.
That's a shame. That is a shame.
And Nicole, how you gonna get COVID?
I know. Listen, when I got that test, because I test every time I travel. Every time I travel, I test. When I got that positive test, I was like, what? And I could not believe it because all I had, was a sore throat. And I just thought it was sinus drainage. So I didn't think anything of it. And so I was like, are you kidding me? Like, is this test positive? Like, I had to take off from work. But, do what? I told you I am a 12-month employee. So I work in the summer. So I'm not off like the teachers. So I have to take off time. So it ended up, my little 2-week vacation ended up being 3 weeks. So I go back, I'll report back to work tomorrow. So what they did, Kaiser put my onset on the 14th. So like technically my 10-day is today. But I was able to leave the house in 5 days because I'm vaccinated and boosted, but that just proves that it doesn't matter if you're vaccinated or boosted because I got it for a second time. And then certain people that not vaccinated and or boosted, it never has had COVID, but it's my belief that everybody at some point will get it, even if you get exposed to it and your test say negative. At some point, you will be exposed to that virus, whether it's positive or negative. So it's just the government finding ways to make more money, and this is just a mess. I've never in my life had the flu, never, and don't got COVID twice. So it's crazy. Maybe I could be. I'm not for sure. I'm not gonna allow it to dictate my life. I'm not worried. On the other hand, other people may be worried. I'm not worried. It's other people that may be worried. Maybe, worried they may catch it. All the people who was around me tested negative.
I'm worried.
Don't be worried, Richie. It's like, to me, I think it's like any, mini, miny, mo. So, I mean, you could sit in a room with 6 people and
you can say you're going to do good things. You're going to be great. You know that you're
one person can get in nobody.
So now we ain't gonna talk about it, but we're gonna think about it in silence.
See, you are my favorite principal, Stacey.
we gonna think about it in silence. And so now, with all that being said, good old vaccination.
What you think?
What you think about that vaccination? What do you think that people that got vaccinated that it was efficient, or
this is a controversial issue right here?
What I would say, to be honest, because y'all know when I had it in August,
did both, right?
When I had it in August, I was very, very sick. Me and my mom were very, very sick. At the time, I wasn't vaccinated. My mom had taken 1 shot, but had not got the 2nd shot because we got sick. Now, what I will say is I think it is something in the vaccinations that does kind of suppress the virus. Because when I tell you, I've been walking around here doing it's like I had a whole free week off work because the CDC says, because I'm vaccinated and boosted, my school district said I was ready to return back to work Thursday. I just chose to stay off until Monday. But because I wanted to chill some more. I'm just being honest. I wanted to chill. I wasn't ready to go back to work. But I think it did help because I was sick. And at one point I did get scared. I got scared for my mom because she's 65 and she just kept getting weaker and weaker and weaker, even though we didn't have to go to the hospital. Thank goodness. But we were sick, like extremely sick. And I do think, I don't know what the heck is in that vaccination, but it suppresses stuff. And I think it doesn't make it as severe. So like, I asked my doctor just to ask her, like, what should I take? She said, oh, Nicole, just take Mucinex, Tylenol, and get some rest. So out of all of the 3 things she told me to do, the only thing that I took was Mucinex for the sore throat. Because I did start getting a little congestion, and then I just rested. And I think because I run the street so much, I run. I think my body needed to just chill, just sit down.
Mucinex, Tylenol, and cure. It's now the cure.
And stay hydrated.
If they had, okay.
So that was her recommendation, right? So I was like, oh God, I can't. I don't.
Yeah, boy.
It's just crazy. But somebody asked me, was I going to get the 4th booster? And because I tested positive with the vaccine and the booster, I probably not. I don't think that I will get the 4th booster, because I think at some point everybody will probably be exposed to this, whether you. And some of these tests are so off. Like the doctor tells you after you have tested positive, I'm telling you all, I tested positive in August of 2021, August 18th, 2021. The next time that I took a COVID test was in January of 2022, because I had to go back to work. When we had to go back to school, when all that COVID stuff started coming, they made every employee test to come back in. And of course, my test was negative, but I hadn't tested because the doctor told me it could be a possibility that it could come back up positive for about 90 days because it's a virus. And whenever it decides to exit, so I had to explain to some of my friends, just like if you get a stomach virus or just any type of viral infection, it comes through your body, and then at some point it exits, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be contagious. Same thing with the pink eye, it's viral. So once you put the medicine in there, you do whatever you need to do, it's no longer contagious. However, that virus is still in you until it exits. So it's just so much. I'm just so, when I tell you, I'm just so over the whole COVID thing. Like me and one of my really close friends got into like a drop dead argument about the whole COVID testing. And, you know, and people, if you're going to catch it and you're not, I mean, like, hell, if you're going to catch it, you're going to catch it. I mean, you take a risk every day you go outside your house. So, I mean, that's why I, you know, made the comment that I just can't live in fear. Hell, I caught it for the second time. Just thank goodness, you know, I wasn't as sick as I was the first time. But I think that being vaccinated and boosted did play a role in me not being so sick. But this particular strand that I got, it wasn't as bad as that first one. So it's, you know, just sore throat, stuff like that, kind of like a common cold.
COVID is the new flu. This is
exactly. It is.
Look at it, it's the new flu.
Yeah.
There are new strains, and there are strains that are resistant to the vaccines and things like that.
Right.
But I wouldn't say no to the next booster because they are working. The last thing I read on this is they're working on a booster to address this new strain. So it's always a cat and mouse chase. It's a regular cat and mouse chase. And if you don't want to do it, I mean, you know, hey, I'm not here to tell you what to and what not to do. But the thing is like I said, you know, I have to be extra careful because I just got off a respirator. I can literally turn around and look, and there's a huge house. It fits in a closet to supply my whole house with oxygen. And I'm like, look, I just got off that thing, you know, three or so years ago. The last thing I want to do is get back on it. Because that's what happens when you get COVID. You get put on that. And I'm like, I don't want to do it. So that's why I'm that person that takes those precautions and didn't stay at your thing, you know, before, beforehand and things like that. But I still do what I can. I keep alcohol handy. I keep my KN95 masks around and things like that, and I go on about my life. And but that's two things I ain't done. I ain't gone back to the gym yet. No. The sad thing is that I've the house that I live in, I picked this house right before the pandemic started because it's literally within walking distance of an LA Fitness. That's the reason I picked this house. And the sad thing is I haven't been able to go there since March of 2020. And I just keep driving past, and that place stays busy. I drive past it and it stays busy, but I'm just like, it's just not. It's not worth the risk. At least for me, I'm not. I don't go there protesting other people going to the gym or anything like that. I'm not that guy. But I just know what my situation. I know what my struggle has been. So instead of paying that $30 a month, I now have gutted my my spare bedroom. I've got at least $8,000 worth of gym equipment in my spare bedroom. There's no bed in there anymore. It's all gone. It's turned into a straight gym, legit gym. And that could have paid for membership for probably the rest of my life. But I'm like, well, I got to do what I got to do because of the situation.
Well, are you using the equipment, Reggie?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, so you are. So you kind of made it into.
Yeah, that's the reason I put that kind of money into it. I ain't putting the money into it to not use it.
But don't feel bad about the LA Fitness. I've had the Planet Fitness membership. It's about to be a year in July. It's probably a year. And I had
the Planet Fitness is, $10 a month. Planet Fitness is nothing against Planet Fitness. But
I don't pay $10, sir. But go ahead.
That's how I lost the weight. But what I'm getting at is that it would be so much easier on me, especially financially. Imagine the stocks I could have got for that $8,000 that I have upstairs in my spare bedroom in the gym. You see what I'm getting at? So there's opportunity costs for that. and it's sad. I don't like it, but I was like, well, I've been here for a year and ain't nobody. Hey, see you, Stace. Ain't nobody come to the house, so I'm like, I might as well use that spare bedroom for something. So.
Mm. Maybe, maybe not. Plan B's
Yeah,
gotta rise.
I'm with you, Sam. It could be, it may not.
Yep. There's also a startup company. There's a company that is making a pill for men. Now that's controversial, and that might have some fuel behind it. So that's, yeah, you are right though. That's a catalyst, and to be on the lookout for emerging technologies. But there's supposed to be a pill that now men can take, and
I heard about that.
and it renders them inert. So
I don't trust that.
What did you say? Well, I don't know how many of you all watch P-Valley. I do watch Ratchet. I watch Ratchet TV, but in the valley. See, you watch Ratchet TV. So on P-Valley, on this latest episode, what I liked about it is they talked. It was a whole abortion situation on there, and just kind of giving people that choice, like. It's really, I know it's a touchy situation, but they talked about it. They use what we're going through on. I love people. What is it?
CHD.
How much does it cost, Franco? 90.
You can afford that. You got a BMW, girl.
Church and Dwight, is that it? Church and Dwight.
This is the condom stock.
Yeah, you need. Yeah.
What did you say?
I ain't said nothing. I said, go ahead.
Sam, real quick, can you look at this? Can you look at this? I'm gonna need you to see if you can put a sliding door here. You see right here?
You can put a barn door right there.
Okay. So I want to get with you to see how much that'll cost, because that's what I want to put right there.
About $900.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
But I'll call you on the side. It's because I could show you, so I wanted to see, because it's not a.
Yeah, because you got to get the hardware. You got about a door, and then it's got to be installed and stuff. But okay.
Yeah, I just want to be able to close off this room. I kind of made it my office now, my she girl room.
Okay.
P-Valley.
Mm-hmm.
That's true, Franco. But there's fundamental differences between our country and those countries. Those countries, it's not birth control; it's population control. And no, not in this country. You can't call it what you want, whatever you want, because here, I think in this country, I can make a pretty solid argument that it is race control. Yeah, but China is homogenous. That entire continent is homogenous. So they're not worried about they will not replace us, so to speak. You see, I'm getting at. So and I think that that's one of the primary reasons why we overturned Roe v. Wade. Thanks, Clarence. But but the thing is that it's the technology is there, but the technology is for completely different fundamental reasons. And if you're being smart, Franco, you should be looking at those technologies that are already existing in China, also in Japan. Japan ran into this situation too, where they had to do population control. Okay, and this is stuff that's been going on since like the 70s. So they also had incentives. They had incentives and taxes. So if you had one too many kids, they would tax you extra. And they also had incentives for not having kids. So they had a number of government things in play. So there is a lot of tech that's going on over there that people will be trying to bring over here to the US, not for any of the reasons, that China and Japan have been doing their things for the last, 40 years, but just because it is now convenient and a way to make a buck here in the US. But fundamentally different, fundamentally.
Well, when I try to look at
I'm about to start season 2 of P-Valley, Nicole. I watched season 1 a few years ago, but I just saw that they got season 2.
Oh, well, you need to catch up, because they are episode 7.
All right. Yeah,
Good night.
Hey.